Hey guys, thank you for watching the SlatRock channel. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe and get more videos just like this one. But first, WWE has a bad habit of signing top players from rival promotions only to bury them because they weren't WWE creations. Here are 10 times the WWE buried wrestlers they didn't create. Number 10. The Club. Luke Gallows was an example of how a wrestler could shake the stink off a bad WWE gimmick, in his case, Country Bumpkin Festus, and forge a new career elsewhere. Gallows' tag team with Carl Anderson saw the two men become a dominant force in New Japan Pro Wrestling as part of its Bullet Club faction, working alongside AJ Styles to tremendous success. Fans familiar with the Bullet Club were excited when they discovered Anderson, Gallows, and AJ Styles were on their way to WWE. Fans expected Gallows and Anderson as a take-no-prisoners team that could shake up WWE's tag team division. While Styles got a big push from the beginning, the Club were given a lukewarm push, at one point performing so-called comedy spots as doctors that had fans reaching for the remotes. A reunion with AJ Styles as the Club might have helped spark some interest in Gallows and Anderson, but it was short-lived, and the tag team fared poorly for the rest of 2016. Although Gallows and Anderson won the Raw Tag Team Championship, their reign wasn't long enough to establish them as a dominant team, leaving some fans to wonder if the WWE signed them just to deprive New Japan of their talent. Number 9. Raven. Many ECW stars found making the jump from a bingo hall to the big time proved easier said than done, regardless of talent. Wrestler Scott Levy's nihilistic character Raven worked in ECW, but fans were skeptical when he moved to WCW. Fans were pleasantly surprised when WCW gave Raven a good push and allowed him to incorporate the things that made him successful in ECW. His hardcore matches, sanctioned as Raven's Rules matches, his cult of followers, The Flock, and the dark psychology delivered in his promos. Consequently, when Raven came to WWE, there was hope he might thrive in the Attitude Era environment. That wasn't the case though, as WWF seemed to think that Raven's history in a hardcore promotion simply meant having him compete for the Hardcore Championship. This proved problematic as the hardcore division wasn't the proving ground for main event stars, and WWE didn't let Raven pursue the dark angles that had got him over in ECW and, to a lesser degree, WCW. Raven reportedly pitched several ideas to get over in the WWF, including a run on Sunday Night Heat, but those failed to go anywhere, leading to a mediocre run for Raven. Number 8. Zack Ryder. This situation is a bit different, as Zack Ryder, as Long Island Iced Z, wasn't an established star elsewhere when he came to WWE. However, Ryder made the mistake of bucking the system, working hard to get himself over, but forgetting the WWE's #1 rule: WWE controls everything. Zack Ryder discovered this when he took to YouTube, building up his own fan base through his own channel, Z True Long Island Story. So what did the WWE do for the mid-card act who took the initiative to get over? They gave Ryder the bare minimum of a push, then threw him into one stupid program after another until the fans didn't care. Few fans like to get behind someone portrayed as a loser, no matter how cool their YouTube channel is. Number 7. Mike Awesome. Mike Awesome seemed too good to stay in ECW, jumping to WCW, but struggling to find his way as WCW writers gave him terrible gimmicks such as That 70s Guy and the Fat Chick Thrilla. Following Awesome's WCW run, few thought Awesome could do any worse than the WWF, but Awesome fared no better. An initial run as hardcore champion during the Invasion angle showed promise, but an injury shelved him for 8 months, and when Awesome returned, his push was gone. Awesome soon became enhancement talent on Velocity and was gone by September 2002. Number 6. Vader. Big man Leon White had accomplished all he was going to in WCW, winning the WCW World Heavyweight Championship multiple times and dominating in the ring. When Vader jumped to the WWF, fans were eager to see Vader square off with superstars such as Shawn Michaels, The Undertaker, and Bret Hart. However, Vader's run in WWF proved doomed from the start. White had to lobby hard to convince McMahon not to rename him the Mastodon, ditching the Vader character he'd made infamous. White's refusal likely didn't endear him to Vince, and things got even worse when Vader was forced to return early following shoulder surgery, resulting in him being unable to perform at 100%. Vader's WWF woes continued when his stiff style in the ring angered Shawn Michaels, leading to the Heartbreak Kid threatening to have Vader fired and sent back to Colorado. During one match, Michaels even lambasted Vader in the ring after Vader blew a spot. The various problems added up to Vader having a terrible run in WWF. While his fatal four-way match at 1997's In Your House Final Four was highly regarded, it was the exception rather than the rule. In 1998, Vader was so disgruntled he even referred to himself as a big fat piece of shit on pay-per-view. Vader's career was one of wrestling's biggest letdowns, repeating the cycle of non-WWF stars getting buried. Number 5. Buff Bagwell. Vince McMahon is known for changing things on a dime, as seen when he hired Buff Bagwell after the mere mention of Buff's name got a pop when Vince asked fans which WCW stars they wanted to see. The WWF brought Bagwell in as part of the rumored plan to run WCW on Monday nights in place of Raw, and the WWF on Thursday nights during SmackDown's regular time. WWF aired a test match on Raw, with Booker T facing Buff Bagwell. However, the match was terrible and the fans let their feelings be known. Wrestling legend has it that USA wasn't enthusiastic on WCW replacing the WWF product, killing the return of Monday Nitro. As for Bagwell, his poor performance in the ring and arrogant attitude backstage ended his WWF career shortly after it began. Number 4. Dusty Rhodes. Dusty Rhodes was known for the legendary Hard Times promo he cut while in Jim Crockett Promotions, echoing the unemployment woes suffered by many American blue-collar workers in the 80s. Sadly for Stardust, he found himself on hard times by the end of the 80s after he was fired by WCW. Dusty turned to the WWF, but it was obvious he was going to be eating humble pie during his stay, thanks to Dusty giving the WWF a run for their money during his tenure as booker for Jim Crockett Promotions. WWF put Rhodes into some of the most degrading vignettes ever, setting him up as the Common Man, a wrestler who did daily drudgery like working as a pizza man, a butcher, and even a plumber. And yes, Vince McMahon's love of all things scatological was on display in the plumber vignette. The piece de resistance, though, was the ridiculous polka dot outfit Dusty wore. One even Stevie Wonder could figure was a rib on Dusty. While WWF creative man Bruce Pritchard has gone on record on his podcast, Something to Wrestle With, that the gimmick wasn't a punishment, few believe this. To his credit, Dusty got over, becoming a solid upper-card star in the WWE, even later when they paired him with an unlikely manager in the form of Sapphire. Number 3. Goldberg. Goldberg's first run in the WWE was a textbook example of how badly the WWE treats stars it didn't create. Bill Goldberg proved one of the biggest hits of the Monday Night War, a homegrown hero who had become nothing short of a sensation in WCW. However, his run in WWE was a disaster from the beginning, with WWE writers emasculating him with goofy vignettes, such as Goldust putting his wig on him and The Rock calling Goldberg Whisker Biscuits. The no-nonsense Goldberg of WCW would have speared Goldust and The Rock, but the WWE decided to incorporate comedy into his character, diluting him. When it came time for Goldberg's world title program with Triple H, he was booked as just another contender, suffering beatdowns at the hands of Evolution. While Goldberg eventually won the belt, he held it for a short time, proving far less dominant than his WCW run. When it came time for Goldberg to leave, fans couldn't wait to show him the door at WrestleMania 20, booing him and Brock Lesnar out of the building during their match. Number 2. Sting. Long before Bill Goldberg's majestic reign in WCW, Sting earned the nickname the franchise of WCW as its top babyface. Sting carried the WCW banner for much of his run in the company, arguably even when Hulk Hogan was brought in to boost business. Sting resonated with older and younger fans, always delivering solid, if not spectacular matches in the ring and maintaining a main event presence. After WCW folded, Sting became the company's hottest free agent, but avoided the WWE, reportedly because the product clashed with his Christian beliefs. Instead, the Stinger chose TNA, working for the company for several years as a main eventer. It seemed like Sting was never coming to the WWE, but as fans know, never say never. Rumors began to circulate that Sting was coming to the WWE for a dream match at WrestleMania with The Undertaker, but that failed to materialize, leaving his WWE future in doubt. In 2014, Sting appeared at Survivor Series, leading to an angle with Triple H, culminating in a one-on-one bout at WrestleMania 31. The match itself proved to be a disappointment save for nostalgia. Sting was no spring chicken, and while Triple H was able to carry him to a decent match, the match needed the presence of D-Generation X and the original members of the New World Order to keep it interesting. Sting's loss to Triple H seemed anticlimactic given the hype behind his return, and Sting's subsequent career-ending injury against Seth Rollins was a sure heartbreak for Stinger's fans. Guys, you must be wondering, where the hell is Diamond Dallas Page, ECW, the NWO? Don't worry, we have a dedicated video explaining why they failed and who is responsible for their failure. Check the video by clicking the card at the upper right corner, or check the link in the description. Now, moving on. Number 1. Scott Steiner. There's no question the WWE signed some big-name WCW talent, but regrettably they didn't do so for 2001's Invasion angle. Instead, bringing in the original members of the New World Order in 2002 and Scott Steiner later that year. Steiner, who had established himself as a main event star in WCW, was immediately put into a program with Triple H over Hunter's World Heavyweight Championship. As the matches progressed, it was clear Big Papa Pump still had the physique of a genetic freak, but the mobility of a kitchen stove. It didn't help that Steiner seemed to have the stamina of a smoker with one lung either, and before long, Steiner was on the downward slide, dropping out of the main event to feud with Test over Stacy Keibler. Well guys, as you can see, the WWE doesn't care about your success if they didn't create it, often leading to bad outcomes for new arrivals. Are there any other wrestlers the WWE buried that we should discuss? Be sure to leave your comments below and like our video. And if you like this video, don't forget to hit subscribe, hit that bell icon to get notified every time we post a new video. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Google+, and as always, thanks for watching.